Hello, this is Pyxus, and welcome to the first actual devlog of Project PC RPG. I'll be honest, I haven't gotten a lot of work done since the introduction video. However, not for lack of trying. In short, I'm having some organizational issues, let's say. I would have made a video last week, but decided to postpone until I had some new progress to showcase. I still don't really have any progress, but I decided to upload video anyway since I think these logs should, to an extent, show my whole process of development and not just new stuff I've added to the game. Also, I may have already broken my video a week goal and just need something to upload, so yeah. Let's get started, shall we? First on the agenda, some new mission critical information right here. I've decided to change the working title of this project from PC RPG to OSRPG. Why? Simple, because when you search for PC RPG, to my absolute shock, you get a list of, gasp, RPGs that run on PC. I truly could not have seen this coming. Jokes aside, I'm glad I realized this early. It's not that big of a deal, but I hope by having the project under this new name, it'll be easier for people to search for it in the future. Anyway, in terms of actual development, the first thing I decided to tackle was the desktop environment. As I mentioned in the previous video, this game will take place on a fake desktop, so virtually all interactions in the game will be done through fake applications, files, and windows, and the desktop environment would basically be the glue that holds all these things together for a seamless experience. You click on an app, you open a window, you close the window, and the app closes. To do this, I first created a desktop OS node. Oh, and for those unfamiliar with the Godot engine, here's some quick terminology so you can follow along. Nodes can be thought of as the basic building blocks for the game. There are a bunch of pre-made nodes, and you use scripts to control them and add on to their capabilities. And a scene is just a collection of these nodes. Got it? Carrying on, the desktop OS node will be responsible for managing the game's fake applications, and an application at the moment is really just a thing that creates and manages windows. For instance, I have a terminal application, and all it does is create a window and loads a terminal scene I created into the window. I also created a desktop environment node, which will be responsible for everything looks and feels. It'll basically be the game's UI, the whole opening an app and closing a window thing I was talking about earlier. The reason I didn't just make one node that does both is so that the look of everything isn't tied too close to how things actually work. So ideally, I could have several different desktop styles the player could choose from, or potentially in the future have some light modding support. The last thing I made was a desktop file resource, which just holds information like the real files on your computer right now. For example, the terminal app file holds information about the terminal's name, in this case it's just terminal, the icon it uses, and the application script associated with it, so I can load this resource whenever I want to create a terminal. And that's what I've gotten done so far. Now, the only sensible thing for me to do from here is completely scrap all of it. I did mention at the start of this video I was having organizational issues, right? Over these past 2 weeks, I've wasted so much time trying to structure and design this fake desktop space. Like, I won't scrap everything, but the current implementation is on the path of being over-designed. To make it worse, there was a brief 3-day moment where I considered and somewhat followed through with switching the project to C#, only because I got interested in learning the language. Now, the C# thing was just stupid, don't get me wrong, nothing against the language, or Godot's API for it. I also even used Java for my computer science courses, so I have no doubt I could have learned it. But I just code faster in GDScript, so it was a waste of time considering this is a project I actually want to finish. I'll save C# for experimenting on a side project. The reason I scrapped the desktop OS and desktop environment structure was less stupid, but also based on my stupidity, so take that how you will. Basically, it was designed too much around the possibility of adding modding support in my game, like the ability for people to make customized desktop environments or maybe include their own apps, which is something I shouldn't be focusing on at all. Maybe if the core of my game included modding, but I'm basically wasting time designing for a thing I may or may not even want to support, and it is so far off from a minimum viable product it is being redshifted. The rest of my time was spent on reevaluating my focuses for this game. I sat down and did some planning on a novel concept I know. I've decided that the first thing I should focus on is creating the game's combat system. Considering this is an RPG, I feel that that's core enough to warrant prioritizing on my roadmap. For the duration of this week, I'll be rewriting my command interpreter, which is a necessary component of my combat system, so expect a video Friday or Saturday about my progress with that. The current one works, but I hate it, so it's getting reworked. Now, why do I hate it? That's a really good question. Well, that's the end of my video. I appreciate those of you who stuck around to the end. I would also appreciate any feedback on the video structure. My current subscriber count is a lie. I haven't uploaded a video in years, so I don't really have an audience, and thus have no one to cater to. I'm just kind of winging it. If and when I do start getting feedback, I'll make changes from there. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you next time. Later.